You're listening to the Messengers of Hope Mission podcast with your host, Bob Gardner.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Glistening Glass. Glistening Glass is my company and is a residential window washing and gutter cleaning company. We service the northern Hillsborough and southwest Pasco County area. If you're interested in having your home windows or gutters cleaned, now is the time to call. 813-404-2300. That's Glistening Glass. Well, hello, everybody. This is Bob with Messenger of Hope Mission, and I know it's been a minute since we've done a podcast. I will explain why that has been, and I'm going to go into a little bit more weighty of a topic today than I normally do. So I'm assuming that you've seen the title of this episode, which is called Philanthropic Fatigue, and that is the topic of today. It is a deeper topic than I would normally get into, but it is one that I have been dealing with, and so this episode is going to be a little bit more weighty and a little bit of a therapeutic session for me, at least I hope. And I'm not going to delay, I'm going to get right into it today. So the question is, first and foremost, what is philanthropic fatigue? Well, there's a few different ways of looking at this. One, it's called donor fatigue, those people that donate to nonprofits. They get tired of doing it, volunteering as well. They donate or volunteer and they start getting tired of doing it, and they do it less and less and less as time goes on. In my case, philanthropic fatigue is from running the nonprofit. This is something I've been doing for over 10 years, and it is weighty on me. It takes a toll on me, especially around the holiday season. So many people in need, so many people calling me. I get hundreds and hundreds of phone calls every month, phone calls, texts, emails for people looking for help, some people looking to volunteer. It just takes a lot of time to deal through all that. And of course, I still have my own work to do because I don't get paid for what I'm doing at Messengers of Hope. I have to work, and that is the window washing company that I have, which also picks up this time of year. This time of year, I'm very busy and I'm usually quite exhausted by the end of the day. My mind is shot from all that I have to think about. Even though the window washing may be a little bit more mindless work, my mind keeps going over everything that's going on in my life, everything that's going on with Messengers of Hope, and of course making sure that I am getting the work that I need to be able to survive and take care of my family. However, before I get too far into that, I do want to explain why it's been so long since there's been an episode. I've tried to record this 4 times before today, and this is the 5th time recording this. I'm still not 100% sure that I'm ready to give it out. My plan is to get it out today, but we'll see how that goes. I want to be honest with people, but I also don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I want to be able to give positive things, but I need to be honest with myself and with the listeners and the volunteers and the supporters of Messengers of Hope Mission. That being said, I want to make it very, very, very clear that Messengers of Hope is not going anywhere. This is not a farewell episode. This is not we're going to close Messengers of Hope. We are continuing to do what we do, and we're going to continue to do what we do as long as we can do it. But to be able to do that, it takes a lot of my time. Recently, my wife and I went on vacation to New England, and it happened to coincide with the same time as Hurricane Milton, which was a devastating hurricane for our area. Now, we were up there, we were driving up to New Hampshire at the time. It was the Monday before the hurricane. We actually talked about turning around and coming back, but when we started looking at gas and the ability to get back, we decided that it wasn't going to happen. Plus, we had been planning this vacation for a really long time. I hadn't taken a vacation since pre-COVID, and we did not want to give it up, so we decided to continue on, which was probably a mistake in hindsight. I don't know. I can't say. It was a good vacation, but at the same time, we were just really, really stressed about everything that was going on at home, whether or not we'd have a home to come back to. With all the fear-mongering and, of course, the actual real threat of the hurricane, we weren't sure what was going to happen, but we decided to continue to go. But those things were on our mind the entire time. We made it through the vacation. Of course, the hurricane hit, and, we came back home a few days after the hurricane. Power had already been restored by that point, thankfully, and our family was fine. My stepson actually took care of our house and everything in it and kept things going. We had no major damage to our house, which we were very, very thankful for. During Helena, we did have damage to our house, which we had gotten fixed right before Milton got here, and that was another stress for us. The real problem came when I got back. I got phone calls and texts from people anonymously, supposedly, about how selfish I was to go on vacation when there's a hurricane here when so many people are in need. I do not take that seriously because I'm pretty sure I know who this came from. I don't 100% know, but I'm pretty sure I know who it came from. And I'm not going to take what they're saying and go with that. I was on vacation. This was unplanned. It just happened to coincide at the same time. And I really did feel bad that I was not here after the hurricane. I had my volunteers working, but I wasn't here. And I did feel bad about that. So these attacks, although the person that attacked me, the people that attacked me, they did not affect me. I was already affected by not being here. That was just an underscore of things that was going on. And then, of course, the holiday season here is upon us, and it's a time that we have to collect turkeys and gifts for kids, and we still need food coming in, and we seriously need money coming in. And that's all stuff that I usually do this time of year, and I still do this time of year. But we're struggling to do that because of how bad it is around here. So many areas are hit hard that the food that we would normally get donated to us has been diverted elsewhere. And rightfully so. I understand that. But we are in a position where we really need stuff. I am just really feeling burnt out and tired. That does not mean I'm throwing in the towel. I really want to emphasize that. This is not an I quit podcast. This is me just being honest and kind of therapeutic with myself and you, the listener. Whether you listen or not, I'm going to still do this. Like I said, I've recorded this a few times and I've deleted it many, many times, so 4 times. I might delete this one, I don't know. My plan is to give it out. I am really feeling it, and one of the things that became abundantly obvious to me over the vacation, and even after we got back, I have some great volunteers, and I really do. I'm not going to say anything negative about a volunteer. And people just tell me, oh, get more volunteers and then everything will be fine. Well, that's not the case. Volunteers are great, and I would love to have more volunteers. There's an upside and a downside to volunteers. The upside is you don't have to pay volunteers. They come and they volunteer. The downside to volunteers is you don't have to pay volunteers. They come and they volunteer. I know, oxymoron. But if someone is being paid for a job, they're more likely to show up than someone that is volunteering. You got a job, you want to keep the job, because you get an incentive to keep the job. You get paid for it. But if you're a volunteer and something else goes on, families getting together, you want to take a day off, you just don't feel like doing it that day, you want to sleep in, whatever, you can do that as a volunteer. As an employee, you really can't do that, at least not as often. You won't have a job if you do that. So that is a downside of having volunteers. For me, even though I am a volunteer technically, I don't have that luxury. I can't give up. I can't stop going, because if I do, then everything falls apart. I say I have people that are planning on coming on a Tuesday morning to come help and volunteer and put away food. And this has happened, by the way. When I'll get there and I'll be waiting for them. 9 o'clock shows up and they're not there. 9:15, 9:30, 9:45, they call me, oh, we couldn't make it today. I've still got to be there. I've still got to get the work done. And now I'm doing it by myself. And that happens all too often. And again, I'm not getting down on volunteers. Volunteers don't need to be anywhere. They're volunteering. They're giving of their time. So I can't expect them to be there. It does make it hard on me when I have to give up my work to be able to do stuff for Messengers Hope. And I have had to do that more often than I'd like to, where I have to give up a job where I get paid washing windows, and I can't do that because I have to be at our warehouse and I have to get food and I've got to get money and I've got to get everything coordinated and I've got to work on picking up the food and making sure that we have the vehicles in place and making sure that the pantries are going. There's a lot going on. Boy, it really sounds like I'm complaining today, and I guess maybe a little bit I am, but as I said, this is a little more therapeutic for me today. So in all my confession, I'm going to do something I don't normally do. I'm going to ask you, the listener, if you're a praying person or someone that wishes well or something like that, please pray for me, pray for the board, as well, because we do this work and none of us get paid for this. And it's really a labor of love. And if I'm being completely honest, if I'm not there doing it, it doesn't get done. While I was gone, I had some great volunteers running some stuff, but I still had to coordinate from a distance. I still had to answer questions, take phone calls, take texts and emails. And it was very difficult to do that and enjoy a vacation. I didn't really get a non-working vacation. Not that I mind, but at the same token, I did want to have some time with just Brenda and I. All of that being said, one thing I did learn after this vacation is it's become abundantly clear to me that at some point in time that Messengers of Hope is going to have paid staff. We're at a tipping point where we are growing to the point. By the way, in October, we served over 11,000 people. November 2024, it looks like we're going to top even what we did in October. not going to get to 12,000, but we're going to get to a higher number in 11,000. That is not sustainable by just a few volunteers. So at some point in time, we do have to consider the fact that we are going to have to hire people. And I don't know how we're going to do that. By the way, we're going to have to raise our budget for this fiscal year. For 2025, we raised it last year by, I think it was $16,000, and it was not enough. We undershot what we needed to raise, and we're going to have to do that again this year. I think our budget this year is going to have to go to 120,000. Realistically, I don't know how we're going to do that because we didn't get that last year. Everything's going up, and just like people's personal financial budget, our budget goes up as well, even with volunteers. And if we consider staff, we're going to have like some kind of finances in place for that. This is why grants are important. This is why people donating are important. This is why churches and businesses donating are important. It's stuff that we need, and there's just no getting around it. Things cost money, and that's what we need to be able to run. And that doesn't even get into the food that we have to get. We get a lot of food donated, we get it from food banks, but there are food items that we do have to buy. Like we're going to have to go out and get turkeys. Thankfully, people have donated money for turkeys. We still need, at this point, another 200 turkeys to come in by this Saturday. And it's Wednesday, so the next pantry is tomorrow, Thursday, and we still need another 50 turkeys coming in, and then we need another 150 coming in for this Saturday. So all this adds to my philanthropic fatigue. And again, I know this sounds like complaining, and I guess, again, it is a little bit of complaining. I just want to be honest with you, and maybe you listen to this and you go, hey, I can help. I can volunteer some time. I can donate some food. I can donate money. I can get the word out for other people to donate time, money, and get out there and volunteer. I need that. I need people encouraging me. I need people to come alongside of me. This is not me saying I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it whether I have somebody with me or not, but I really do need some people there to help lighten the load. I think I will put out this episode today. I think I will. I'm going to listen to it before I decide for sure. That's really what I wanted to share, what was on my heart, what was on my mind. And again, I've been working on this for about 2 months now. I got to say, I really feel a little bit better sharing this. And maybe if you hear this, reach out to me or one of the volunteers at Messenger of Hope that do such a great job, like Deb, Lazarus, Maddie, Steve, any of those guys that do a really great job being there, week in and week out. Reach out to them and encourage them. Of course, come and volunteer with us, be part of the solution. Well, that's going to do it for today. And I know I kind of rambled on here, and I apologize for that. For me, anyway, this was very helpful. And I hope that it kind of opened your eyes a little bit to what I'm going through. And I hope that you guys have an amazing holiday season. Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you might celebrate or not celebrate. Happy holidays. Okay, we've reached the point in the podcast where I get to make an appeal to you, the listener. Messengers of Hope is in need of volunteers to come work with us, not only at our various food pantries, but also at our warehouse in Odessa, Florida. We have all types of jobs for all types of people, everything from light cleaning to heavy stacking of boxes and sorting of food. Now, maybe you're listening, you're saying, hey, Bob, I don't live local, and it would take way too long for me to get onto a plane and fly there to come work for an afternoon. That's okay. I've got a plan for you as well. You can go to our Facebook page and find links for our payment portals. We have both Venmo and PayPal, and you can make a donation to Messenger Hope that way. Still not enough? You can find our address and mail us a check, and we'll be happy to take that. Messengers of Hope is a registered 501c3 nonprofit, so any donations you make is 100% tax deductible. That's going to do it for this week's Messengers of Hope Mission podcast. In the words of Mother Teresa, if you can't feed 100 people, feed just one. This is Bob Gardner reminding you to make a difference in our world today. See you next time right here on the Messengers of Hope Mission podcast.